Going on to Jerome's. So with all the Kirk Cousins talk, sort of losing sight that Danielle Hunter is also a free agent. And Danielle Hunter, third-round pick in 2015, out of LSU, has turned himself into one of the best edge rushers in the game, one of the premier run-stuffing defensive edge rushers as well. And the Vikings, they got a decision this offseason. And last year, Danielle, 80 pressures, 16.5 sacks, career high, tied for the league lead with Max Crosby in terms of tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles, 50 stops in the run game. He was fantastic, and he proved that he can thrive in any scheme. He proved that he can stay healthy over the last 2 years, and Vikings are at an impasse. Now, what's interesting is that Kwesi and Danielle's agent, have already worked out revisions on his contract through 2 different off seasons, right? So, by the way, I know this is unpopular to say, but Danielle Hunter has been woefully underpaid over the last 5 years. It is what it is. But he had a herniated disc in 2020. Don't care. Don't care at all. And Danielle, with the revised contract, got himself up to around $20 million in compensation, maxed out on his sack incentives, and also had a no-tag clause in his contract, hence why he wasn't franchise tagged at the deadline yesterday, as well as he does have a couple of void years in his contract, so the Vikings would have to shoulder around just shy of $15 million in terms of dead cap hit if and when Danielle's contract voids on March 13th, the first day of the new league year, next week. And, Danielle, I mean, he's talked about his free agency, and I think it's pretty telling when he said back on February 2nd at the Pro Bowl, I'm going to make sure I stay in shape, and whatever is best for me, I'll take that. So I think that, straight up, I respect what Danielle has done, and he's going to take the highest bid, and that's exactly what he should do. Now, it's a little bit different than Kirk, because Kirk has definitely gotten more than market share, or more than fair market value over the last couple of years. But it's apples and oranges, potato, that whole thing. And Spot Rack estimates Danielle's market value at $20 million per season. That's probably low, considering the cap going up. I could easily see Danielle getting $24-25 million bucks, because that is currently where the line of demarcation in terms of elite upside edge rushers are. Montez Sweat, Rashawn Gary getting $24.5 and $24 million per year guaranteed. Crosby at $23.5 is a hell of a deal. Absolutely a hell of a deal. But I could see Danielle getting like a 3-year, $75 million contract out there. But the Vikings, they have the cap space, even factoring in Danielle's void year dead cap hits. The Vikings have the cap space at around $36 million in space. And Danielle, he is 29. I mean, he's the ageless one since he came into the league at 20. But he is 30 in October, a career high in sacks. That should say 16.5. But he's a team leader, leads by example, team captain, perfect in the Flores scheme, which is amazing because he went from a hand in the dirt, close side of the field, left defensive end, to a stand-up, roving outside linebacker, and he's great. He's great. And the Vikings, the cupboard is sort of bare if they let Danielle Hunter go, because Davenport I do not want back at all, unless it's league minimum, nothing guaranteed, blah blah blah. Then maybe. And then also DJ Wanham is a free agent as well. So the Vikings' top 2 edge rushers could be walking out the door. And I like Patrick Jones second. I like Andre Carr the second. Are you ready to turn the keys over to them? I don't know, man. But the free agent market is going to be certainly interesting on the edge, because Danielle is out there. I think that, especially with Brian Burns being tagged, he is the 1-1. In terms of Brian Burns and Josh Allen being tagged, I think that Danielle is the 1-1 out there on the edge, so he could command and also have a lot of leverage and have a bidding war potentially for his services. But I mean, the Vikings, they could add some veteran edge rushing help. Jerome Baker on the outside, play a little off ball, play a little edge, familiar with Brian Flores. Same thing with Ogba. Chase Young is out there. I think he could be had for a very cheap prove-it deal, but would that be going down the primrose path of Marcus Davenport yet again? Hey, if he can stay healthy, mama, I can change him. But, of course, Chase Young certainly has a lot more upside than Davenport. But also, you look into the draft, the Vikings, depending on what happens at quarterback, could they go edge early in this draft? They certainly could, but I don't know, man. I love me some Danielle Hunter. You would want things to work out because he's a premium player at a premium position still in his prime. I think that Danielle has probably 4 or 5 years left of his peak prime, but is the juice not going to be worth the squeeze? Like, is Danielle going to get 25, 26, 27 million per year in the open market? I think he certainly could. So I think that, I mean, whether it's the Rams, whether it's the Texans, whether it's, hell, maybe even the Jaguars, even though they just franchise tagged Josh Allen, and they do have Walker on the roster too. I mean, either way, Danielle's going to get the bag, and I respect that. Again, it's not like he had a Scottie Pippen contract with the Bulls, but he has been underpaid for the last couple of years, so I'm glad that he's going to get his because he earned it. I mean, he played phenomenal lights-out football last season. Ideally, I would like for him to stay with the Vikings, but if not, it is what it is. And if the Vikings have it where Kirk Cousins leaves, Danielle Hunter leaves, and they cut or trade Harrison Smith, that's a full-on end of the competitive rebuild. They've completely turned the page from the Spielman-Zimmer veterans, and we'll see. We'll see, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Will Danielle Hunter leave? Question mark. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.